Welcome to the new casa of the Dad-Bod chef. This is a simple dish, pepper steak. About 4 thin cut New York strips or 2 of these larger New York strip steaks. But of course you don't want the bones in there. One of the easiest ways to find the right peppers is get one of these, 3 packs of red, yellow, green peppers. I prefer the red onion, salt, pepper, and the key ingredient, the key is oyster sauce. All right, I put about 8 tablespoons of oyster sauce, but I kind of eyeball it. I put about 3 to 4 tablespoons of soy sauce. And then one of the secret ingredients, of course, is sesame oil. But those who've cooked with sesame oil know that this is powerful stuff. I probably put maybe a teaspoon of it, and that's it. You can go a little, if you like it a lot, you can put a little bit more, but you don't want it to overpower. One of the things I also fix is I do a slurry with cornstarch and water. You want it to be thick and coat the meat. So 15, 20 minutes of prep, 7, 8 minutes of cooking, half an hour. This meal is done and it's delicious. It takes longer to cook the rice, so start the rice first. I start with a steak, cut up my veggies. Of course, I wash my knife in between. But when I'm making pepper steak, no one wants to eat a big chunk of fat. So I'd always discard a lot of these pieces of fat here. I use that, I render the fat. When I'm using thick cut meat, I like to cut them in thin strips like this, like little strips of bacon. I line them up all here because I'm gonna salt and pepper these. I use a little bit of salt, more pepper, hence the term pepper steak. Now I don't salt and pepper both sides because I think that's just too much seasoning. I just want to have some seasoning in there because the sauce has a lot of flavor. The oyster sauce has a lot of flavor. The soy sauce has a lot of flavor. And of course, peanut oil has a lot of flavor. All right, see, 2 steaks. Simple, simple, simple. Salt. A lot of pepper. All right, now bring that up to room temperature, maybe 20 minutes tops. But this is a step you can't miss. You cannot miss putting some seasoning on the steak. So I just cut the onion in half, and I do one of these numbers here. I just simply cut it. So I take out like this middle stuff here. I'm not gonna cook with that. Pretty looking ribbons of onions there. Flip all that meat over so that they just see the fat. You let it render down, keep rendering down. It could take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. Let it render. That is plenty of fat. That's more than enough fat. I need to take that out. And get some of this fat out of the way. See, that's a little too much. So I'll turn the heat off. A little bit of paper towel. Soak that up. You don't need all of it. Soak it up a little bit. Just put it on there with the rest. That's plenty. It's just basically water and cornstarch. See how that little thick action right there? See how? Boom. You want it to be thick like that. You just add it to any sauce. You gotta make sure it cooks for at least a minute. So it's kind of key to put it in a little bit early. Don't want it to crowd too much. But since it's so thin, it cooks so fast. Literally, I just start flipping things over. It doesn't have to be perfect right now because I'm not finishing it yet. But I'll take it out right now and just put it here to the side. So I do this in batches. You notice there's still a lot of pink because it still needs to cook a little bit more. I'm just trying to get some initial cook on there. "30 seconds maybe, if that. And then I start pulling it off. I don't want it to overcook. Still like that medium rare action, Always start with the red onions first. Man, that's a good smell. Now I add my peppers. Okay, to add a little bit of pepper right now, because it is pepper steak. You don't want them to be too soggy, so now I add all the meat back in with all those juices. I add my oyster sauce. So that's my 8 tablespoons right there. 1, 2, 3 soy sauce. And then my 1 teaspoon. Not too much. It'll be overpowering. There you go. Now, get all those sauces incorporated. Turn it down a little bit. See, they're a little bit loose. So this is when I add a little bit of my slurry in there to thicken that sauce up, right in the middle. Turn the power off. That should have been enough to thicken the sauce. And 2 steaks cooks, I mean, it's enough to cook, it's enough to feed. But a trick is when you have too much fat, you could always just use some toilet paper. You can always use a paper towel.
Behind the scenes. Let's see who puts in the well really good. Oh.
Football.
Oh, really?
I gotta watch the game, dude. Did I tell people it's oyster flavored sauce? Oyster flavored sauce. Oyster flavored sauce.